because controversy has emerged over the sale of petrol between the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and the Dangote Refinery. NNPCL claims that Dangote has struggled to meet its supply promise, delivering only 16.8 million liters of petrol. However, Dangote refutes this, stating it has delivered 111 million liters in just 3 days and continues loading. Despite Dangote's supply, NNPCL has intensified petrol imports, receiving over 135 million liters between September 27 and early October 2024. This has led to an excess supply of petrol shortly after a nationwide shortage. Now, NNPCL explained that oil marketers are hesitant to import petrol due to potential losses, leaving NNPCL as the main off-taker. Meanwhile, the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise called for the government intervention, highlighting the impact of rising petrol prices on Nigerian citizens and businesses, which has worsened inflation and increased hardship. Let's start from here before we go on to the government sealing fuel stations and all of that. There have been fresh, should I say, arguments now, dispute on the supply volume. It all started with the price, and now we had that sorted. We had the information on that, even though they're still having hiccups here and there with that conversation. But let's get you. So I don't think we've had you since we heard the price of Dangote fuel, and then the NNPCL saying that they're not going to, they're not going to be the sole buyers, and then the marketers coming in now, and all of these conversations that have been on with the Dangote and NNPCL dispute with petrol price.
Well, thank you very much. For me, I think it's really unfortunate and sad that we'll be having NNPCL, struggling, with Dangote, a single individual that built refineries from the, from the scratch. So it's something that I'm still finding very difficult, to understand. Whereas we have 2 refineries, that is meant to be run by NNPCL, that as we speak, they're all lying fallow after Nigerian government, after the NNPC claimed to have spent billions of naira to maintain and fix, and up to this moment, nothing is happening there. But I'm not surprised to be seeing this, the back and forth. Initially, when they were pressured, because it seems as though the NNPCL, they don't even want the Dangote refineries to run. That was why initially we're having issues with pricing, how they came up with a price. Dangote came out to say that that wasn't the price that we sold it to them. And even that matter has not been fully resolved. Now they are telling us that they are not, supplying enough quantity that will serve the entire country. Now, let me tell you what is happening. NNPCL is looking for an avenue to go back to importation, because when they are importing their criminal activity, those fraudulent activities that enable people, individuals, to siphon huge amount of money, is easier with that arrangement. Importation gives room for people to steal so much money, because what is the business with NNPC and Dangote? Dangote is a privately owned. In fact, I don't know why. NNPC can, of course, they can come in as a regulator to say that, okay, for the sake of Nigerians, that is me thinking, the role NNPCL should have played in this regards is, for the sake of Nigerians, let us see how we can reduce the cost of these products so that Nigerians can afford it. That is the role the NNPC is supposed to play. Giving Dangote the crude at a subsidized rate, making it easy for people to have access to the product, while NNPCL work on the refineries that we have, so that we will not have NNPCL going to station at Dangote, struggling to have an office, that they need a permanent office in Dangote Refinery. What does that tell you?
You know they have a stake in the refinery.
They have it, just like they have a stake in LNG. It is what it is. But that doesn't mean that you begin to dictate to Dangote how and what you know they should operate. My concern is already we are beginning to see marketers complaining that if it continues like this, they will have no other option than to keep importing. And if that is the case, the situation will get worsened because, let me tell you, NNPC retail outlets, how many do we have in Port Harcourt as we speak? The few ones that we have at the rate of 900 and whatever they said they've pegged it at, you have to queue from here to the next community. And you're buying it at a very, very expensive rate. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There is a deliberate attempt by the government and agents of government to perpetually impoverish Nigerians and capture us because it's like we're a conquered people.
Mufasa, it's looking like you're blaming the NNPCL for the expensive rates that the fuel price from Dangote Refinery is
you can say that over and over and over again with emphasis. I am blaming NNPCL, I'm blaming the Nigerian government for not even taking up responsibility and ensuring that our own refineries start working so that we don't begin to rely on Dangote Refinery and frustrating both the marketers and Nigerians who are already in a state of abject poverty and
right. Ambassador, quickly on this one.
Well, my submission is in line. Like, you know, I've always said that for the price of the PMS to reduce, Dangote should be given crude oil on a reduced price and then agree with him that this product, NNPCL, will have so volume of it, if not all, after you refine on this amount. So if Dangote look at the cost expenditure of the product, if they give him on a subsidized price, and then give Nigerians on a more reduced price too, I think it will be a best solution. But again, the Nigerian government makes a whole lot of income through the crude sales. So they will find it difficult to give Dangote Refinery a greater part of the crude because they believe that it's in the sales of that crude that they generate revenue.
But what is your thought on the whole back and forth and contradictory statements?
Well, the issue of contradictory statement is about interest. It's business, and that's why these contracts are not well defined. You know, when partnership is not well defined, you see this kind of hitches. Because if the partnership with NNPCL and Dangote Refinery is a contract, is well defined, what you'll be talking about is breach of contract. So I do not really know the kind of contract deals they have, or is this something that is negotiation, they just wake up one morning and want to discuss a particular matter? If not, if it's a system that is well defined, is you have a projection, you have your agreements. If there's a need to review it, that's what they will be telling us, that we never envisaged that this will happen. But in this case, it looks as if there is no definite contract with Dangote Refinery.
Thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. Let's move on to